I'm Skilla, baby. I'm in here with all hip hop. You hear me?
What's going on, world? It's D Nails at AllHipHop.com. I am with BET Award nominated Double XL Freshman of the Year 2024 and Mr. by 3 Richard Millies in a year. If I'm not mistaken, Skilla, baby. What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Saying off camera, I say it on camera. Congratulations on all you've done so far to date, man. Jumping into this game and we're hitting the success that you have so far as it's commendable, and I just want to say that on camera. First and foremost, the Double XL thing, right? You was nominated, you was not nominated, you was on a Double XL cover, and I believe you got the fan vote, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that's like a different level. Like it's one thing when press nominates you for something or you get an award based off of writers, but when fans are the ones who are like, nah, we want you on the cover. Let's start there. How did that not want to say make you feel, but it's a testament to your hard work.
I felt welcome, like in the hip hop world, because Double XL is a big thing because everybody can't do it, and it's a lot of great artists. And then they pick 14 or 7 or how maybe ever there is, and I just got a chance to cement myself in hip hop. If I don't do anything else
Right.
later in my career, then I know I made that, and it just made me feel good. It was an accomplishment.
Yeah, facts. And then I saw you mention before about being nominated BET wise, which is also another one. And when I was watching your previous interview, I was like, man, I felt everything you said. It's like there's certain awards that I've never been nominated for a BET award, so I wouldn't know. But there's certain things that you remember, like you said, the Chris Brown thing, the tribute there. And so when you got nominated for that BET award, what was that like for you? And I guess where were you, and how was the initial reaction when you found out?
I was actually at home, and it just felt like being a kid again, and just watching everybody get their awards, and even with the Usher tribute and the Chris Brown Michael Jackson tribute, it just felt like home, because like as a young black man, like just BET was all I had at a point where I was just every day I was watching 106 in Park before they changed it from Tigger, and watching them in the basement to watching Bow Wow and all them. BET was just at a point in time everything I watched, and I wanted to be a part of it so bad, and now that I get a chance to be a part of it, it's just unreal.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. And speaking of hometown, slid right into it, man. Like Detroit born and raised, right?
Yes, sir.
And so growing up in Detroit, obviously, especially in our, growing up, it was Eminem. I mean, it's a lot of prominent Detroit artists that came out since then. But let's talk about like the Detroit upbringing, and I know Sada Baby, was a big part of in the beginning of your career. And it seems like since then, like Detroit has been like moving as a unit, right? I think people talk a lot about Atlanta, people talk a lot about LA, New York, obviously, Miami even, but like to see what Detroit has done over the last 10, 15 years, talk about like growing up there and from there until now, now that you're a part of it now, like you're part of carrying a flag for Detroit.
Detroit is a real gritty place. It's like it's big but it's small. We all either want to rap or hoop or play football or sports or something like that. Um, I want to say on camera that I really slept on Eminem. Eminem
Right.
is the best artist the world has seen far as rap culture. And
No Detroit bias or just in general?
not even Detroit bias. I had to really, because he's a little bit before my time. Like actually my I think it was Renegade, that was the name of it. My mom, the first album I ever received, I was yay high, was Renegade. But I never really paid attention to how big Eminem it is and what numbers he do. Like he sells out stadiums, and now that I'm in the rap culture, I see how big it is and how many records he sold. So like just coming from that, I appreciate being a part of Detroit culture, from guys like Big Sean to even Dej Loaf and T Grizzly and Sada, the all type of guys. Like we really on the rise, and like V's, me, Ray, Peasy. There's a lot of guys, and like Cash Doll. It's just our culture is so us. And, even though we spreading our wings and doing different things, we still us. Like at the end of the day, we still celebrate Detroit culture, and like at a point in time, Detroit only listened to Detroit. So like I just want to give a big shout out to all the artists from Detroit, because like we really work hard, and for a long period of time we was overlooked.
Yeah, no facts. And again, I think that the verse everybody honestly started in Detroit, right? Because now it's like New York versus everybody, Atlanta. But I think like the brand of Detroit from versus everybody
Hmm.
started in Detroit, and Detroit is actually lit right now. Man, the Lions are doing great,
Lions,
right?
even with stuff like Motown, like a lot of the Motown artists was like some of the biggest artists in the world that we listen
Hmm.
to this date. Like even Michael Jackson came through Detroit, like was doing things in Detroit, like Aretha Franklin, um, my favorite artist of all time, Anita Baker. Like we have some real prominent artists, and Detroit is like I don't think they spotlight that type of stuff for us. I think we get a lot of negative coverage because of crime rates and stuff like that.
Right.
But it overshadows how talented these people really are. Like we have some talented people even down at basketball, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, people like that. We got real deal talented people that come out of Detroit.
Nah, and you include yourself included, and on top of Detroit, like Meech is home, and he's also a Detroit legend, and so I think a lot of Detroit is like it's going in the right direction from 24 into 2025, and just speaking on like your ear for music, like you
Mm-hmm.
have a unique ear for music. It's not like your typical rapper who's in their mid 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just said Anita Baker was your favorite artist.
Yeah.
And so where does that come from? Is it like I knew you grew up in the house in the beginning, like your mom and your sisters? Is it from that, or is it just you studying and doing your homework on music and realizing,
Um,
who's who?
like I said, music was everything we had at a certain point. And my dad was like born in 46, so my
Mm,
dad was an older guy, so
mm,
he'd probably be like 78 this year if he was alive. So I got that from him, my mom. Um, and like I said, like in Detroit, we all start with nothing. So at a point in time, we only had music, like,
mm, mm,
so, and feel good music was the best thing for us. Like now we're in a time where drill music is big and stuff like that, but it was a point in time where we only had feel good music and music was made off love. So,
right. And speaking of your father, and sorry for your loss there, but I you've speaking about how you was raised with your mom and your sisters, and then there was a time where your dad was like, no, he needs to come live with me because there's things that I can learn that you can learn from a man that you can't learn from women, and I appreciate someone speaking on that because I think this, especially now seeing what Deion Sanders is doing with his sons and how
hmm
he, is raising his sons, and so just talk about like, and Phil, you don't have to elaborate too much if you don't want to, but I think that's something to talk about where it's like understanding like as a man and having to be raised by a man versus having to be raised with a woman, but still love your mom as much, but just understanding that you needed that. At the time, did you appreciate that? Did you feel like because a dad could be hard on you at times versus sometimes which things that you could possibly get away with living with your mom.
um, I really thought because when I first moved with my mom, I mean, when I first was like born, I lived with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad was like, when your dad raised you from kind of a distance,
Mm-hmm.
all you see is the love, like, and everything was out of love, but like you don't really get disciplined much. I didn't get
Right.
I feared my dad, but I didn't get disciplined. It was like when I seen him, it was all love. So when I moved with my dad, like he he started to instill things like from because I moved when I was like 8, so it was time for me to move with him. He instilled things in me that I didn't really appreciate at the beginning, but now I do because
Mm-hmm.
I still live by some of those values. And it was like a quote, like he did things like I couldn't ask him what something mean. He'd hand me a dictionary,
Mm.
you know.
Right.
So it
Right.
wasn't like he wouldn't didn't want me to learn it. He wanted me to learn it the right way. Like here, or don't ask me. Here goes the dictionary. You don't like he's teaching how to be self sufficient. Or like
Right.
I read something in the book. It was like he that will not work shall not eat,
Mm.
and I thought it was fancy, so I wrote it down and brought it home. And from that day forward, like my dad wouldn't let me eat without doing the dishes. Like he chores had like
Right.
so he instilled values that I really didn't appreciate as a kid. But then when you grow up, you're like, all right, I cook, I wash the dishes, make my bed when I wake up, stuff like that. And I get up early, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just stuff I learned as a man, just getting my day started early and stuff like that. It puts me ahead of the curve.
Nah, and those are all shouts to you because some of the things I'm hearing you, I'm like, damn, these things are my dad, instilled to me as well, and some things your mom would probably let you slide that your dad probably wouldn't. And I think that, like I said, when you first walked in, one thing I said on off camera is like you articulate yourself very well. I feel like you're self aware of yourself, like you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
In a couple of interviews that I've saw that you've done in the past, and then one thing that I admired about just from watching you and having a conversation before was your self awareness to like when you had a problem with the police last year, I believe, for your birthday, and
Mm-hmm.
then versus this year, and like instead of most rappers or anyone just would be like, "F the police," they hate and they did this. I think to see you like, you know what, now let me figure out the why on why I'm being harassed or why this and like talk about why you decided to go the route to like, I'm gonna sit down with them, I'm gonna figure out how to make this work so you're able to move around in the city and do because you're doing great things in the city in Detroit. And so you can talk about how you flip the switch to be able to like go that route and not, bash
Um,
the police.
because if it was only solely about me, I probably would have went the
Mm-hmm.
route work because I don't need anybody. I can stay in the house, make my money, but it's bigger than me. I want to be able to reach the kids. I want to be able to be in the community without being harassed. I I do need the police. I'm not calling the police on anybody. I'm not that type of guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I do need my events to be safe. I need that safety net there for the kids when I'm doing stuff for the community, for people that who are civilians that don't have nothing to do with street values and stuff like that. I need them to be safe and I need them to feel comfortable when they're around. I need them to be able to be outside and be at these events and knowing that nothing's going to happen or these events are going to be successful. So we do need the police in some sorts. Like I said, I'm not a person that would call the police,
Mm-hmm.
but we do need them to keep us safe. They have a job, and if as long as they do their job right, I don't have no grudge against them or anything like that. Just keep us safe. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and on to aside from that, right? When you sit down and you're working with the community a lot, does that affect the way you go about making music? Because there's certain things that do you feel like I don't want to say that because I don't want to ruffle feathers or imply one thing. Does that hinder your creative ability at some at because of that relationship? That not saying relationship, but because you're mindful of the things that you just mentioned.
At first, yeah, but I try to live by a standard where I try to give people 100% authentic me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some things I rap about aren't solely about me. So maybe it's something I've seen or experienced. You can't take that
Yeah.
away from a person. So it comes out. I let it come out. Some stuff, if it comes out too like too much, I won't put it out because we can go into the drawing board or just go into the drawing board. You don't have to put out everything that you make. But I don't try to let that hinder my creativity at all because I gotta give people authentically myself.
Yeah, no, and that's fire because it seems like now with like looking at Thug's case and then now with Dirk going through what he's going through and the lyrics, certain lyrics are now being amplified because they're going through that. I do feel like they're trying to take the creative ability from the artist because of the fact that I mean, God forbid something happened. Now they're gonna twist my words to try to use it against me. So that's part of it. Then the other side, speaking of Thug and Dirk, like your circle, like coming out of Detroit, right?
Hmm.
Everybody can't come with you, right? You also have to make tough decisions on
Hmm.
who can go where and who's actually going to come along the journey so that it doesn't hinder your growth. How do you decipher that? Like who's coming with you, who's not? It's trying to keep yourself out the way so that you aren't looped into any issues or any things that even if you weren't a part of it, just because of who you are, you can get looped into.
Um, I try to stay to myself really. I try to keep business business. I really beat the streets, so I try to stay away from the streets as much as possible. I'm not trying to get looped back into what I used to be into, and I'm not trying to promote that to the youth or promote that to anybody that I'm not trying to be a dangerous guy. I'm not trying to be into that type of stuff. I'm successful.
Mm.
I'm trying to motivate people to be successful. Now, if I say something, about something I've seen or something I've done, maybe in the past or anything like that, yeah, or maybe it sounded good on the record, but I'm 100% trying to be a good guy. I'm not trying to show somebody I'm tough. I'm not trying to prove I'm street. That's not nothing I'm trying to prove. It's more if you know thing. And
Right, right.
so I'm trying to promote success and um grit, grind, hustle. I'm trying to promote that the other side of life that people don't get to see because people from my neighborhood haven't left my neighborhood. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm trying to promote positivity and stuff like that, stuff that's gonna keep the world good and clean and keep us moving forward. I'm not trying to push us back 20 more years and have motivate people to put their life on the line and have to be away from their family. I'm not promoting that. I'm not trying to.
Love that, man. And I think more artists need to come out because to your point, if you know, you know, right? I do want to switch it up and talk sports, right? You have Donovan McNabb is the first song on your new project,
Hmm.
right? I read something that you and Sauce Gardner used to ball together,
Yeah.
right? You have a cousin that just
Bryce Underwood, he's the
the
number
number one
one
quarterback.
recruit
Yeah,
in the United States right now. He's committed to Michigan. They just gave him a lot of money. He's
big
he's
bag.
he's a great athlete, but he's an even better scholar and a better person. And that's why I would like to promote about Bryce Underwood. He's a great person, a great kid. He doesn't get in trouble. He's not out partying every weekend. He's not doing anything like that. He's focused. He got his mind on football and school. He gets great grades. Um, he's just everything you want in an athlete and a scholar and as a and a kid. Like I want when I have kids, I want my kid to be like that. Like he's the model student. He's the model athlete. He's everything you want to pattern yourself to be after, like a role model. For
Man,
sure,
that's
I look up
fire.
to him. And
That's
he's only
fire.
17.
And I look and I, you know, from the outside, I follow sports. So, like, from the outside looking in, I can tell he is a great kid. So, to hear you just reaffirms what I already thought. And to have him stay local, right? I know at first he committed to LSU.
Hmm.
And so, what does it mean, since we're talking about it, what does it mean for the city to see, to be able to have him so close at Ann Arbor,
He's a
to be able to
hometown
be a
hero.
hometown?
He
Yeah.
have he hasn't even taken a snap, and we went to the Michigan game when they just played Northwestern, and everybody in the stadium wasn't even looking at the game; they're looking at him.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce, Bryce, Bryce. They so excited to have him. He haven't even played a snap yet, and it's crazy like the hype behind him because um it's like, all right, I'm trying to see what the hype about, and the hype is everything. Like he's everything the hype is. Like I watched him do everything. I done watched him roll out to the left. He's right-handed, throw a 70-yard bomb. Like he's really that.
Mm-hmm.
He's really that.
Now as far as sports, sound like you're still knowledgeable. We're talking about rolling out, throwing, being
Hmm.
able to throw. Were you into sports like that? Like until you decided to, like, you know what, this rap is gonna be the thing. Would you have
Definitely.
been continuing the sports if it wasn't rapping?
I would have tried.
Yeah.
What hindered me from sports is I didn't want to work out. So those guys were super athletic and things like that. I just was talented and I was naturally good at sports. I always been the best on my team, but once you get to a certain level, it's like plus life hit me and I wanted to get some money and stuff like that and I
Mm-hmm.
started doing other things. But once you get to a certain level, it's like hard work beats talent, you know?
Yeah.
Like every time, every single time, you could be talented, but you can go to the club and doing all this other stuff that's distracting you from your craft. And there's somebody in the gym 24 hours a day, 23 hours a day, 22 hours a day, and he's working and he wants your spot. And if you keep knocking at the same door, you're gonna get it's gonna open.
Yeah.
So talent is just only one thing. You gotta be, you gotta like with that type of stuff. They watching film, they working out, they working on their craft and stuff like that. So that's the I had all like the intangibles, but I didn't have that. Like I didn't have the I didn't want to work out. I just wanted to play. So that's what really hindered me.
Yeah, and that would do it, like you said, when you ain't working out, like, and if you don't like working out, like you said, at a certain point. And I tell a lot of people, like, their kids are good in Pop Warner, and then they get to high school and they realize they're different beats because of that.
Cause
And
it's somebody just that just started playing football in the ninth grade, and he's in there and he wanted so bad. He's in the gym every day,
yep.
and you've been playing your whole life. You just talented, so you feel like that's gonna get you by, but he's gonna surpass you. It's inevitable.
Do you ever get like survivor's remorse a little bit coming from Detroit, understanding what's left behind, and you're able to financially do things that a lot of people from that you grew up with or are in, and even in the city of Detroit are able to do? Does that ever make you like, dang? Because I already know you do a lot of stuff for the community. You go back, you do things to help clean up the streets with the guns or helping people go to prom or whatever that may be. But do you feel when you go back like, damn, I'm one of the ones who made it and feel away a little bit?
I always feel away. I feel bad. But I had to learn. Like when I first got a little success, it was harder on me, but I had to learn. Like it's a sad reality that for certain people to be rich, certain people have to have less for certain people to have more.
Mm.
So, understanding that, I come to grips with it. I don't really agree with having more than a lot of people. Like that's why I give back so much because I feel like I don't want to just take so much from my community and not give it back because they pour like they pour into me. Like whenever I'm home, I'm welcome. Whenever I'm in the community, they show me love. They make sure I'm okay, mentally, spiritually, and everything. Like even the like people less than me, they give me free stuff
Man,
and
that's
like and
fine.
stuff like that. Like my community love me, and I'll try to show my community that I love it, like I love Detroit. I really, that's me. Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. And it's
hundred
crazy because you
percent.
said that one of my questions that I had written down was your made it moment. And for me, I know a lot of artists are big when people start name dropping them in songs. And I know Jack Harlow in the Loving Me
Mhm.
record dropped like I'm big in Detroit, like I'm Skilla baby, right?
Mhm.
What was that like for you when you I don't know if he sent it to you before he dropped it or if you just found out when we found out.
They
Was
sent me a TikTok. That was
oh that
like,
was the first time you found out
yeah,
about
like
it.
when he was like promoting it on TikTok. They sent it to me. I was like, that's crazy.
Do you
That was
even have a relationship with Jack Harlow at
Yeah,
all?
we
Oh,
talk
we
all the
talk.
time. We was
Okay,
talking before that. Like
okay, cool,
before he
cool.
got super big, he was coming through Detroit. He was like semi big, and then he was coming through Detroit, and he was on tour with somebody and was kicking it and stuff. I got his number and stuff. But now like me and Jack Harlow, like I say all the time, we don't talk about music for real.
Hmm.
Like we bounce ideas off each other, but we talk about life. Like when I text Jack Harlow or he texts me, it's like I ain't heard from you in a while. I'm just checking on you.
That's
Like
dope.
it's that type of stuff. Like he's genuinely a good person. He's concerned about people's well being, and uh, I like that more than just having a musical relationship with a person. Like you genuinely care if I'm okay. Like I posted something the other day. He commented on the picture. Like that's what I like to hear, and I was
That's
just
dope.
talking about how my mental is better and stuff.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And was that like, was that another reminder for you? Like, man, damn, because sometimes you don't realize how big you are. And I've seen a couple of times you talk about how you just like being by yourself, walking down the street. And was that one of those moments where you realize, like, I damn, like I am, like, not saying you didn't feel it or you didn't know, but was that a reminder to yourself, like, all right, I am way bigger than I'm, you know what I mean? Than walking to like the gas station at 2 in the morning to get some chips, you know what I mean, by myself.
A lot of times I be I be doing off the wall stuff because
Yeah.
people be saying I'm a little too humble,
Mm-hmm.
but like life let me know all the time. Like I be trying to do little normal stuff, and people are just start chasing me and following me and stuff, and I be forgetting because you look in the mirror and you be like, it's kind of like I forgot what they said it was called, but it was damn, what's that word they call? It's called something I forgot, but it's just like when you don't realize how big you are, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
um I have those moments all the time for real.
Yeah, nah, for sure, and especially with the ladies, right? And
Mhm.
like you do a lot of your music. I know a lot of your songs is up and down my timeline with all different type of chicks. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because of the empowerment behind it. And you dropped this project not too long ago, right? Let's get into that. Do you feel pressure? Like, damn, I gotta get a ladies one, I gotta get a streets one, I gotta get it, yeah. Or when you go into these your creative process when you're making a new album, is it just what comes to you? Are you thinking about like, I gotta get a ladies one, I gotta give streets one, like, I gotta get Detroit one, like.
I I was feeling pressured at a point, um, and it was kind of like my downfall because I was feeling pressured to just make another one and make another one that everybody would like and make another one. So it was kind of like my fault, and I was trying to impress everybody. Also, I want to say out loud, I apologize to the ladies out loud for what I said on the Breakfast Club. Uh, I really, I really was feeling pressure to.
What was said on the Breakfast Club?
I kind of said like,
If you don't mind me.
I kind of said like, all right, I didn't want to keep making girl songs.
Mm.
Till a couple people talked to me about it, and it was like, um, I felt like I was in a box, and it was like, but that's your box,
Right. Right.
and you gotta live for that box. Like that's what makes you you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only feeling like that because like I'm from the streets, so people always come up to me like street guys and stuff like that. Like I'm getting soft and stuff like that. So it was like I was feeling pressure to like make street bangers and stuff again, but I just want to apologize out loud to the women that felt disrespected because I
Mm-hmm.
want my apology to be allowed. It's my disrespect, and I felt like I disrespected them because they just so supportive of me,
Mm-hmm.
and like all my shows be predominantly women and stuff like that. So I just want to apologize to them, but I feel less pressure now because I'm not chasing a hit.
Mm.
I was chasing a hit, but now I'm not chasing a hit. I'm just doing what I love. And
Yeah.
and I was like, I would kind of make that comment on the Breakfast Club, like, yeah, the ladies' music sells, but I kind of worded it wrong, and it wasn't like I'm just doing it because it sells. It's just like I'm a people person. I try to please people, so
Mm.
I try to
Same problem.
do what my fans want, like
Right.
and that's how I should have worded it, because I try to put out what my fans want to hear, not necessarily what I want to hear, but what my fans want to hear.
Right. Right.
Because like I don't really have classy nails French tips, so I can't really listen to Bay and just relate to
Yeah.
everything I'm saying, but a woman can. So
Right.
that's what I was really trying to say. Like I can't really relate to all the empowerment music for the women because I'm not a woman.
Mm.
So that's what I really wanted to say, but it was kind of early. It was 6 a.m. in the morning.
That's how they
Like
get you.
yeah, they got
6
me.
a.m.
But
fresh out. Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
said, I apologize to the women, and whether they hear it or not, I just want the apology to be allowed as the disrespect.
Nah, it's straight. And like I said, bro, self-aware of that. A lot of artists aren't as self-aware, so I commend you for that. And the albums, I mean, I enjoyed it. I know there's some heavy hitter features on there.
Mhm.
When you're selecting who you're gonna get put on your album, right? Is it relationship based? Is it like, nah, I like what he's doing or he or she's doing? Is it like
I,
what goes into that? Because I know a lot of it when you're putting together songs. I'm pretty you release X amount of songs or album, but there's still tons of music you probably got in the vault.
mhm.
So how do you select on which artist you're gonna choose, who you're not gonna work with?
It's
When you're putting together
relationship
an album?
based for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and plus sonically, it'd be that too. Like I want to sound good sonically, and I want the album to match up and the energy to match up. So, a lot of my things I do is relationship based because I don't really want to do anything with a person that I might not even know you, but I just your energy and my energy might not align,
Mm.
and that's cool, because like just because we not good for each other don't mean we have to be beefed out or anything. It's just maybe you're just not my type of person, and I'd rather not work with those type of people. We could just stay in our own lanes.
Yeah, nah, I like that, man. So before we get into like what you have next and what's coming in the new year, I wanted to ask you like a couple rapid fire questions if that's cool.
Hmm.
All right. So the first question I have for you is how, like, as a female, right? What does a female have to do to get a gift from Skilla Baby for Christmas? What are some things that they have to do out there to get on your nice list for the holidays?
Nothing. I just gotta love you.
Gotta love
If
him.
I have
Okay.
love for you, I get some break.
Okay. Detroit Pistons or Detroit Tigers? Who gonna win a championship first
Who
in
might win first?
the next couple
Um,
years?
Tarek Skubal, he just got the Cy Young award, so our pitcher is really good. I feel like if we get a couple, if we get somebody like Aaron Judge or somebody like that,
Yeah, yeah.
or we probably get a Tigers championship before the Pistons. But the Pistons might make a run if we just get I think we just got a young locker room
Mm-hmm.
and we just missing a big. Cade is playing really well. And I think he's leading the team really well. We got some nice young guys, pieces that's playing with him. I think um, Tobias Harris, he plays really well and stuff like that. He's a veteran, but I feel like once we get a big and uh, uh, somebody playing on a real superstar level, we get a championship in Pistons again.
And before I go to my next question, how? Because I know in New York, right, when the Yankees are good, the Knicks are good, the city different. The city moving different when everybody's cooking on cylinders. So like I said, the Lions are doing their thing now. But what is the city like when the Pistons are good? Because I remember, you're old enough to remember when the Pistons won the championship,
I was
right?
at that parade.
So
I was on my daddy neck in '04 at the parade, and Ben Wallace, he was had his shirt off or something, and Rasheed was on there. We
it
was
was a
tripping.
wild
We
team.
was tripping. They had the float coming down.
Yeah,
Detroit was in a different place, but that's how we getting back to the Lions. Like it's days where it's 100,000 people downtown trying to celebrate the Lions. So
that's right.
like
So
the
you guys
city
feel it
different.
when the city different when the
City
sports.
different when the
Yeah,
sports teams winning. I remember
yeah.
when the Tigers and the Red Wings was going.
Forgot about the Red Wings when they was on fire.
What? The Tigers
Yeah,
and the Red Wings was
yeah,
on fire at the
yeah.
same
At the
time.
same time, right? And the seasons overlap in a way, so I know it was
It
jumping.
was going.
Dope. And shit. Speaking of sports, Juan Soto just signed a big deal. He got 800 mil. Like, do you at some point do you feel like, damn, I should have stuck with the sports thing, or you go with, with the
See,
rapping?
me and Juan was just talking about how so many people, so many black kids and urban kids are not playing baseball, and
Yeah,
that's
we just had that
only
conversation
because
before you
the
came
hype
in.
behind it
We
is
just had
not
that
like
convo.
basketball and football
Yep.
players. They're nationally known,
Yep.
like more famous in the urban communities. But these baseball guys are world known
Yep.
people and they getting contracts like that. Like that's almost $1 billion for 10 years of your life. That's like almost
Yeah, it's
90
like
some
80
years,
millions, and on
80
top of the
million a
endorsements,
year.
on top of everything you asking, we just were talking about that before you walked in. Was just like I grew up in inner city. You get guided. There's only two sports: basketball or football, right? And then track is to help you get better at football or basketball. And we're not introduced to the soccers of the world, to the baseballs, where those guys are making
They
Ronaldo's and the Messis. They making
and
big
Beppe, they
money.
tried to get him to play for Dubai for 10 years. They was about to give him over $1 billion. It was
So
crazy.
yeah, so like,
And he's black.
and he's black, right? And so I
But
think
people
that's
aren't
something we got
looking
to
up.
not
The
looking
urban
at it.
kids not looking up to those type of sports because it's not the hype
Mm-hmm.
around it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we not celebrating them like we celebrating the football and basketball players. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that it's not celebrated like we should celebrate it. Like baseball, they contracts
They contracts
crazy.
is crazy. And I was just telling him, I'm like, man, 800, you set his kids, like forever. You did your part, and it's all guaranteed. So,
Guaranteed.
not saying Juan will
He
ever
could
fall
get
off.
he could get injured.
He can get
Anything.
injured. He can say, I'm going to be mediocre for the rest of
He
my
could
life.
retire.
He going to get his bag. So, shouts to him. My last question. Do you have a New Year's resolution as we approach the end
My
of
New Year's
2024?
resolution was just to be consistent in the gym still, and
Mm-hmm.
I have all gym goals. I'm trying to be 200 pounds. New Year's, I'm trying to be healthy, get my body right, and that was my New Year resolution this year.
Dope, dope. And lastly, what's coming up? Like I said, I know you just dropped a project. Congrats on that. You can talk about where people can find it. I think it's on all platforms.
All
I,
platforms.
I rock with Apple Music, so I've been listening to it there.
Uh,
But outside of that, which would you have? I know you just come off tour. Anything else coming up in 24 slash
Um,
25?
well, 25. Well, I just dropped CM3 to end 24. Go get that at all platforms. New videos dropping for that soon. 25. I'm gonna drop my album for a label. It's going to be big. I'm gonna make sure sonically it's right, the features are right, the right press behind it. I just auditioned for a huge TV show. Hopefully I get it. I've been doing acting classes. 50 Cent's been helping me a lot. He put me with an agency, IAG. They've been pushing me forward. They've been on my side, giving me the right looks. They had me turn in a self tape for Voltron. That was a big movie, and I'm not getting all these roles, but like it's just the opportunities are opportunities of a lifetime. I'm trying to push myself, my acting, going like that, and just want to be multifaceted. 2025, I think is going to be a big year for me. I think I'll make a lot of money. I want to make this my year where I make my Hall of Fame run. Like I want to be an icon by the end of 2025.
I love that, man. I love hearing that, but I do want to touch on something real quick. You mentioned 50 Cent before we go. And 50 sounds like a lot. He has his hand in a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But one thing I truly admire about him is like there's a lot of that where people are like, yeah, 50 helped me with this or 50 helped me with that. And he's not the type to brag and boast about what he does for people. So can you kind of shine a light on number one, how'd you get connected with 50? I don't know if it's because of the BMF thing or and that being in Detroit, or was it just like
I
you
got
reached out to him?
connected with 50 first by my guy from New York. His name TV. TV a good guy. He just like to connect the dots. Shout
Mm.
out to TVV. I mess with V a lot. That's my guy. Secondly, one of my managers, Rocket, he's a BMF guy and he works with 50 Cent heavily and we just connected the dots and 50 Cent just to shine a light on him. He helps me with a lot. Just advice, any advice I need. If I just need somebody to talk to, he's a great mentor. He's pushing you to do. He's trying to push you in the right direction all the time. I texted him the other day. I said, "Do you have any advice for me? I'm feeling kind of stagnant. Could you just let me know what to do?" The next week he had an opportunity for me, and he just
Yeah.
blessed me with another opportunity. And 50 Cent just a great guy, and I just want to shine some light on 50 Cent because I feel like, yeah, he gets recognized a lot for things that he do for himself, but he don't get recognized for the things that he do for others. Like I see
Absolutely.
him do a lot. I see him um, help people with their legal trouble. I see him, he do a lot of stuff for people. Um, he just a great guy, and that's what
Fire,
I
man.
like. That's what I like about him.
Dope, man. Skilla baby, D-Nails, allhiphop.com. Go check out the music on the platforms. We got more coming. We got Mogul Talk coming in 2025. Hopefully, when you drop that project in 25, you circle back and come kick it with us, man.
Definitely will.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, my guy.